Protest at the Diljit Dosanjh Indore concert venue over liquor sale. India's nobody's property Diljit Dosanjh invokes Rahat Indori's poetry amid calls to cancel Indore concert. What's the buzz around Diljit Dosanjh concerts in India? Sold out shows, his performances part of Dil Illuminati India tour have tickets selling out rapidly. Legal and social controversies faces legal actions in places like Ludhiana and Hyderabad due to all songs promoting alcohol. This has led to discussions about censorship and freedom of expression in music. Cultural protest in cities like Indore, his concerts were protested with groups like Bajrang Dal over the sale of liquor and non-vegetarian food and cultural and political statements. Dosanjh has used his platform to make cultural and political statements. For example, like Rahat Indori, whose poetry he recited in response to protests. Do you think sale of liquor at a public event like concert should be banned? Arguments for banning public health. Alcohol can lead to health risks, especially in large crowds where moderation might not be practiced. Behavioral concerns. There is increased risk of disorderly conduct. Cultural respect in regions or events where alcohol consumption is culturally sensitive or legally restricted. Enforcing a ban respects local customs and laws. Personal freedom. Adults should have the choice to consume. Arguments against banning. Adults should have the choice to consume alcohol at events tailored for adults. Provided that there are mechanisms for responsible consumption. Economic impact. Alcohol sales contribute significantly to event revenue, benefiting organizers, artists, and local economies. How can organizers effectively address cultural sensitivities while planning and hosting large public gatherings? So they should do cultural research, community engagement, engage with local community leaders, inclusive programming, design events that respect cultural diversity, possibly including elements from the local culture, clear communication, communicate event policies like alcohol, food, or content transparently to both attendees and protesters to manage expectations, flexibility, be ready to adapt plans based on feedback or emerging issues to show respect for cultural norms. Do you think this issue is being politicized? Yes, there are clear signs that the issues surrounding Diljit Dosanjh's concerts are being politicized, protest by political groups, the involvement of groups like Bajrang Dal and VHP, which have political affiliations, suggest political angle to the protest. Political leaders' statements, comment by BJP MLAs in support of protests, indicate political motivations and cultural and versus political narrative. Framing of cultural sensitivities often intertwines with political ideologies. The politicization reflects broader cultural and political tensions. Who was Rahat Indori? Rahat Indori was an Indian Urdu poet born in 1950, passed away in 2020. He was famous for his poetry, poignant ghazals and nazm. His poetry often tackled social issues, love and politics with simplicity and profound impact. Uh, he was known for his relatability, social commentary. He was a cultural icon, and memorable lines like "किसी के बाप का हिंदुस्तान थोड़ी है" became slogans during protest, particularly around issues of nationalism, citizenship, and freedom of expression. Rahat Indori, born as Rahat Qureshi, was a multifaceted personality. From Indore University, he later pursued PhD in Urdu literature from the same institution. Mission Kashmir, Ghulam Ishq, Murder 3. Salary Allowance in Amendment Bill 2024 Passed during MP Assembly Winter Session. MP Assembly Winter Session 2024 Speaker Deputy Speaker Salary Allowance Amendment Bill passed in the House. From now these leaders will deposit income tax themselves. Speaker Deputy Speaker Salary Allowance Amendment 2024 Bill passed in the House. From now on these leaders will deposit income tax themselves. Salary Allowance Amendment Bill passed in Madhya Pradesh, focusing on altering the way the income tax on salaries and allowances of Speaker and Deputy Speaker is handled. Previously, these taxes might have been managed through Assembly or State's financial mechanism. Under the new amendment, Speaker and Deputy Speaker will now be responsible for personally depositing their income tax, aligning their tax obligations with those of ordinary citizens. To bring in transparency and accountability of finance high-ranking public officials and their public perception. There might have been public or political pressure for reforms to ensure that leaders are not seen as being above common tax obligations. What could this amendment serve? How could this amendment serve as a precedent for other states? This could serve as a policy model looking at ways to modernize or reform financial uniformity from an ethical perspective. What are the broader implications? Equality before law, trust, responsibility, accountability, ethical leadership, potential challenges, and also it sets a strong moral message about the duty of public servants to participate in the national economic system. Madhya Pradesh recruitment examination candidate gets 101.66 marks out of 100. Job aspirants protest in Indore. Normalization in competitive exams is a statistical process used to adjust scores of candidates to account for variations in difficulty level of examinations. Since exams like these for government jobs often occur at multiple sessions, normalization ensures no candidate is unfairly advantaged. Can you explain how normalization ensures fairness? Adjusting for difficulty, equalizing scores, it converts raw scores into normalized scores, and compensation for question difficulty. Should normalization continue, it ensures fairness, inherent fairness of multi-session exams where difficulty varies, and with large number of candidates and logistical necessity of multiple shifts remains a practical solution. It is a complex and the process can be complex, leading to confusion and distrust among candidates and potential for discrepancies. There's always risk that normalization process might not perfectly adjust for all variables. What alternative standardized question banks use a large pool of questions with pre-assessed difficulty levels from which questions are randomly drawn but with a balanced difficulty across all stand sessions. Adaptive testing, computer-based adaptive testing where difficulty of question adjusts based on candidates' performance, ensuring that each candidate faces questions that match their skill level, inherently balancing the exam difficulty, and allow candidates to take the exam multiple times within a short period with the best score counted. How can AI predictive analysis? AI can predict the difficulty of questions more accurately before the exam, allowing for better planning of question sets for each session to minimize variance in difficulty. Real-time difficulty adjustment during the exam. AI can dynamically adjust question difficulty based on initial responses. Bias detection. Real-time difficulty adjustment. AI can analyze data for patterns of bias, whether it is related to exam centers, time of day, or other variable, and post-exam analysis. Advanced analytics can refine normalization process by providing insights into well different methods aligning with fairness metrics. Madhya Pradesh Ladli Behna scheme has seen no new beneficiaries for 16 months. Ladli Behna scheme, officially known as Mukhyamantri Ladli Behna Yojana welfare initiative, launched by Madhya Pradesh government. Its primary aim is to empower women financially by providing monthly financial assistance. Women aged 21 to 60 years from low-income families who are permanent residents of Madhya Pradesh can benefit. Initially, eligible women receive 1,000 per month, which was later increased to 1,250 with promises of further increment to 3,000. Directly transfers to the beneficiary's account via DBT. Seeks to enhance women's economic independence, improve health and nutrition, promote education among beneficiaries. Arguments for dependency, short term relief versus long term empowerment, and lack of skill development without concurrent programs for skill development or entrepreneurship. These financial aids might not lead to self sufficiency. Immediate support for women in economically disadvantaged situations. The scheme offers immediate financial relief, potentially freeing them from exploitative work conditions and domestic constraints, allowing them to invest in education or small businesses. Empowerment. Financial assistance can empower women to make independent financial decisions and catalyst for change. My stance would be that while there's risk of fostering dependency, the scheme's effectiveness in promoting self-reliance largely depends on how implementation alongside other empowerment programs, if paired with education, vocational training, and job opportunities, could be a tool for empowerment. Do you believe schemes like these are primarily launched for as a political strategy to attract women voters before elections? Election timing. The timing of the scheme launch is closely does suggest a political appeal to female voters, and also public perception gain attention during election seasons, which can be seen as an attempt. And sustainability and follow through. Limited expansion. The fact that no new beneficiaries have been added could indicate lack of long term commitment or budget constraints. However, it is also important to consider genuine welfare in intent. Not all welfare schemes are purely political, and public demand. The continued operation of the scheme post-election will, if even if not expanded, indicate some level of commitment. While there is a clear political strategy aspect to these schemes, dismissing them entirely as a mere vote bank politics or overlook their potential benefits to the targeted demographic. Key question is whether the scheme's implementation goes beyond electoral cycles to genuinely empower the beneficiaries. Madhya Pradesh gets 8th Tiger Reserve at Ratapani. Ratapani Tiger Reserves, Vindhya Range. Ratapani is situated in the Vindhya Range, provides a rugged and hilly terrain ideal for wildlife. Dry deciduous and moist deciduous forest with teak tectona grandis, and bamboo, Dendrocalamus strictus. Teak tectona grandis and bamboo Dendrocalamus strictus. No, teak tectona grandis and bamboo Dendrocalamus strictus. Barna Reservoir and Ratapani Dam, along with several small reservoirs. This includes Bhimbetka Rock Shelters, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. How does wildlife sanctuaries converted into tiger reserves? The state government identifies a suitable area based on ecological and submits a proposal to NTCA in principle approval. If the NTCA agrees in principle, proposal to moves to the next stage where detailed ecological studies, mapping management plans are developed. There might be public consultations. Then those notifications, state government issues a preliminary notification of Wildlife Protection Act 1972 declaring the area as a tiger reserve. This includes defining core and buffer zones. Final approval. After addressing any objections, the final notification is issued formalizing the reserve. This includes approval from the Union Ministry of Forest, Environment, Forest and Climate Change. A comprehensive management plan is drawn. In principle approval, public consultation, final approval, management plan. How does Ratapani Tiger Reserve contribute to broader goal of maintaining biodiversity, habitat connectivity, links forest, different forest areas, species diversity? It hosts over 150 bird species and numerous mammals. Ecosystem services reserve helps in maintaining ecological balance and cultural and historical preservation with sites like Bhimbetka. It also conserves cultural heritage. How does human-wildlife conflict manifest in areas surrounding tiger reserves? Crop damage, animals like wild boars, deer, and elephants raid agricultural fields. Livestock predation, tigers and leopards might prey on domestic animals. Human casualties, encounters with tigers or leopards can lead to injuries or fatalities. Financial or other compensation for crop loss or livestock predation. Community engagement involve local communities in conservation. There might be early warning system using technology to alert communities and corridor management ensuring safe passage for wildlife. Initiated in 1973 by the Government of India, Project of Tiger was the world's most ambitious wildlife conservation project. Objective is the conservation of tiger, preservation of areas with biological importance as a natural heritage for benefit of future generations. Madhya Pradesh has the highest tiger population. Kanha, Bandhavgarh, and now Ratapani. Kanha, Bandhavgarh, and now Ratapani. Who is Siaram Baba, Madhya Pradesh revered saint? Siaram Baba, a revered Hindu saint and ascetic from Madhya Pradesh who passed away at the age of 94. Here are the reasons for his fame. Spiritual dedication, known for his deep devotion to Lord Hanuman and Lord Ram. He was a spiritual figure. As austere lifestyle, he lived an extremely simple life, often wearing a loin coat regardless of weather conditions. Philanthropy, minimal donation of rupees 10 from devotees. He used these funds for the betterment of religious institutions and restoration of Narmada Ghats. What civil servants can learn from such revered persons? Simplicity, high values and morals, service before self, Baba's commitment to using any donations for the public good rather than personal use illustrates the principle of selfless service, resilience, and dedication. His long periods of penance, especially standing on one leg, symbolizing an unwavering commitment. Empathy and community engagement, sustainability and environmental stewardship, enhancing natural sites like Narmada Ghats, and moral leadership, leading by example through moral conduct. Madhya Pradesh to ban liquor, meat shops, and consumption in temple towns along Narmada River. Such bans are indicative of a broader trend where cultural and religious sanctity is prioritized over personal freedoms in certain contexts. Where cultural and religious sanctity is prioritized to a personal freedom in certain contexts, where cultural and religious sanctity is prioritized to a personal freedom, cultural respect, there's an understanding of the desire to protect, preserve the cultural and religious sanctity, freedom concerns. However, these bans can be seen as infringing on individual rights, particularly in terms of personal choice regarding diet. Implementation challenges, enforcement of such bans often leads to practical challenges. What is the rational preservation of sanctity? The primary aim is to maintain the spiritual purity of Narmada River and its surrounding temple towns and cultural legacy by ensuring that areas considered remain wholly free from practices deemed contrary to the values. Whether there are environmental concerns, both from waste generated from alcohol consumption and environmental impact from the meat processing, and public order, such bans might aim at reducing public disturbances. In what ways can local governing bodies contribute to effective enforcement of this ban? Community engagement involve local communities in the decision making. Awareness campaigns educate the public about in decision making in order to ensure buy-in and compliance. To ensure buy-in and compliance, ensure and educate the public about bans rationale, regulation and monitoring, establishing clear regulation, patrol areas to ensure compliance, and use technology like CCTV for monitoring sensitive areas, alternative livelihoods, to find alternative livelihoods for the services they offer, legal enforcement to ensure legal repercussions for violations, and infrastructure support. What are your views on balance between respecting religious sentiments and individual freedoms in such decisions? Respect and rights. There should be a balance where cultural and religious sentiments are respected, but not at the complete expense of individual freedoms. The challenge lies in defining where one ends and the other begins. There should be a balance where cultural and religious sentiments. There should be a balance where cultural and religious sentiments are respected, but not uh, balance where cultural and religious sentiments are respected, but not at the cost of a complete expense of the individual freedom. The challenge lies in defining where one ends and the other begins. Con- Contextual application. Ban should be context specific. Ban should be context specific, perhaps limiting to specific zones around religious sites rather than entire towns. Ban should be context specific. Ban should be context specific, perhaps limiting to specific zones around religious sites rather than entire towns, respecting both the sanctity of the place and personal liberties. There should be needs to be ongoing dialogue between religious leaders, community members, and policymakers, and also individual choice. People should have the freedom to choose their lifestyle within reasonable bounds and even in culturally significant areas, ensuring that the ban does not extend to private homes or personal consumption outside designated areas. How can the government ensure that such bans do not negatively impact the livelihood of people? Economic transition plans offer financial or skill development assistance to help those affected by the ban to new forms of employment. This could include training in tourism, crafts, or not other services that align with the region's focus, alternative business opportunity, encourage or incentivize businesses to pivot to products or services that are in line with demand but are still economically viable, like organic or religious tourism related products. Compensation, where businesses are forced to close. Compensation or buyouts might be necessary to prevent economic hardship, and zoning, if possible, designated areas outside the immediate vicinity of the temples where businesses operate. Designate areas outside the immediate vicinity of temples or river where these businesses can operate and thus maintaining some form of economic activity. Promotion of cultural tourism, boost tourism that respects the ban while providing economic benefits, focusing on cultural, spiritual, and ecological attractions. Public-private partnerships work with private sectors to develop new industries or expand existing ones that do not conflict with ban's principles. Monitoring and feedback regularly assess the impact of the ban on local economies and be prepared to adjust policies based on feedback from those affected. Balancing these aspects require careful policy making, community involvement, and a commitment to both cultural preservation and economic welfare. Former Madhya Pradesh High Court Judge Rohit Arya joins BJP. What are your views on retired judges or civil servants entering active politics? Their deep understanding of law governance and public administration can bring valuable insights into policy making, public service continuation. It allows these individuals to continue serving the public in different capacity, potentially contributing to better governance and expertise in legislation. Judges and civil servants can help in crafting more effective and legally sound legislation. However, there's risk of perceived or actual conflict of interest, especially if their political affiliations were not disclosed during their tenure. Neutrality, their previous rules demand impartiality, and entering, entering politics might retrospectively question the impartiality of their past decision. It can lead to a loss of trust in the judicial or civil service system if it appears that post retirement political roles were a reward for favorable past decisions. How will it affect public perception of judicial neutrality? Erosion of trust when judges or high ranking civil servants join political parties, especially soon after retirement, and can lead the public to question whether their judicial or administrative decisions were influenced by future political aspirations. Perceived bias. The public might perceive a bias in judicial or administrative actions, thus assuming the decisions were made with an eye on post-retirement political benefits, and past judgments or administrative actions by such figures might come under scrutiny, with critics questioning the motives behind those decisions. Media and public discourse. The move will likely fuel debates and discussions in the media and among the public, further highlighting concerns about independence of the judiciary. Case specific scrutiny, past judgments, or administrative actions by such figures might come under scrutiny, with critics questioning the motives behind those decisions. What are the potential benefits and challenges of having individuals with judicial experience in active politics? Legal and policy expertise. Judges have extensive knowledge of the law, which can be invaluable in legislative roles, ensuring laws are well crafted and constitutionally sound. Ethical standards, they bring higher standards of ethics. And judicial reform, their insider perspective can lead to reforms in the judicial processes. Crisis management, their experience in handling complex legal issues, can be beneficial in political decision making. Further, there are challenges of public perception. Their previous decisions might be re-evaluated in political life. Cooling off period. The absence of mandatory cooling off period before entering politics can lead to perceptions of quid pro quo of favoritism during their service. Shift in role. Adapting from a role of impartial adjudication to partisan politics can be challenging, potentially leading to a loss of credibility if the transition is not handled transparently. Political polarization, their entry into politics might further politicize judicial discourse, where their legal opinions are now seen as through the political lens. In conclusion, while the involvement of retired judges of civil servants in politics can enrich political discourse, it's crucial to manage the transition in a manner that upholds the integrity of both their past roles and public faith in government neutrality. Madhya Pradesh backs the Best Tourism State of the Year award, and Pankaj Tripathi appointed as the face of Madhya Pradesh tourism. What is the tagline of Madhya Pradesh tourism? The tagline of Madhya Pradesh tourism is Hindustan ka dil, or the heart of India. This reflects the state's central location and rich cultural heritage. What are some of the most prominent tourist attractions in Madhya Pradesh, and why are they significant? Khajuraho temples, famous for their intricate carvings, including erotic sculptures. These UNESCO World Heritage Sites showcase the Chandela's dynasty's architectural and artistic achievements. Sanchi Stupa, an ancient Buddhist complex, also a UNESCO site, known for its stupas, monasteries, and temples, illustrating the spread of Buddhism in India. Bandhavgarh and Kanha National Parks, renowned for their tiger conservation. Khajuraho Temple, Sanchi Stupa, Bandhavgarh and Kanha National Park, Bhim Betka Rock Shelters, Orcha with fort and palaces, It's significant for historical architecture as a less crowded alternative to more famous historical sites. Ujjain, Panchmadi, known as Satpura ki Rani. Panchmadi Satpura ki Rani, Queen of Satpura, it's a hill station offering natural beauty, caves, and waterfalls. Why is Madhya Pradesh often referred to as heart of India in the context of tourism? Geographical centrality, cultural confluence, rich heritage, and natural beauty. Further, UNESCO status confers international recognition, signaling sites of exceptional cultural and natural significance. Being a UNESCO site is a powerful marketing tool used in tourism campaigns. What is the contribution of tourism? Contributes significantly to state's GDP through revenue from accommodation, transport, food, and souvenirs. It creates jobs in hospitality, guiding, crafts, and ancillary services. Theme-based circuits are there in MP. Heritage Circuit, including Khajuraho, Gwalior, Orchha, and Mandu. Heritage Circuit, Khajuraho, Gwalior, Orchha, and Mandu. Wildlife Circuit, Bandhavgarh, Kanha, Pench, and Panna. Bandhavgarh, Kanha, Pench, and Panna. Spiritual Circuit, Ujjain, Omkareshwar, Maheshwar. Ujjain, Omkareshwar, Maheshwar. Tribal Circuit, Jabalpur and Betul. Tribal Circuit, Jabalpur and Betul. And adventure tourism like Panchmadi. Heritage Circuit, Khajuraho, Gwalior, Orchha, Mandu. Khajuraho, Gwalior, Orchha, and Mandu. Khajuraho, Gwalior, Orchha, and Mandu. Wildlife Circuit, featuring parks like Bandhavgarh, Kanha, Pench, and Panna. Spiritual Circuit with places like Ujjain, Omkareshwar, and Maheshwar. Tribal Circuit, Jabalpur, and Bithul. What challenges does Madhya Pradesh face in establishing itself as a leading tourist destination? Infrastructure. While improving, some areas lack adequate infrastructure for tourists. Awareness. Despite its treasures, Madhya Pradesh sometimes lacks international brand recognition of other states. And environmental conservation, balancing tourism with conservation, especially in ecologically sensitive areas, remain a challenge. Also, there's cultural sensitivity, ensuring tourism growth that respects local customs and environments to avoid cultural erosion or community disruption. Seasonal tourism, the state experiences peak tourism during certain seasons, leading to uneven economic benefits. Marketing campaigns, initiatives like appointing celebrities like Pankaj Tripathi as brand ambassadors to enhance visibility, infrastructure development, investing in better roads, railways, and air connectivity, cultural events, cultural festivals to attract tourists year round, sustainable tourism, encouraging ecotourism, digital presence, improving online information availability, booking systems, and virtual tours to attract tech savvy travelers, heritage conservation, skill development, training programs for locals to engage in tourism related jobs. Policy reforms, streamlining regulations to make tourism business easier while ensuring heritage protection. 10th International Forest Fair. What is the purpose of organizing forest fairs? Who are the participants and stakeholders in the forest fair? How will it promote women and tribal empowerment through minor forest produce? How does International Forest Fair contribute to raising awareness about forest conservation and sustainable development? How can such fairs address issues like deforestation and climate change? It promotes conservation. Forest fairs aim to increase awareness about forest conservation, sustainable practices, and importance of forest and ecological balance and human well-being. They serve as educational platforms for education. They serve as platforms for education. These events facilitate networking among various stakeholders and celebrate and honor. They provide an opportunity to celebrate achievements in forest conservation. And for those involved in forest products, these fairs can be crucial for market development, showcasing sustainable forest products. Who are the participants and stakeholders in these forest fair? Government representatives from ministries or departments related to environment, forest, and sustainable development, NGOs and conservation groups, organizations focused on forest conservation, biodiversity, and sustainable land use, local communities including tribal leaders, women's group, and forest-dependent communities, scientists and researchers, experts in forestry, ecology, climate change, industry representatives involved in sustainable forest products. How will it how will it promote women and tribal empowerment through minor forest produce, showcasing minor forest produce, highlight the role of tribal communities in collecting, processing and marketing of minor forest produce, capacity building, policy advocacy, platforms for discussing policy changes that could support MFP collectors. Educational exhibits through displays, seminars, and interactive sessions. Fair educates attendees on the critical role of forest. Thematic focus. This each year's theme can focus on different aspects like forest and climate change or sustainable livelihoods. Bring specific issues in the They bring by showcasing local success stories in sustainable forest management. The fair can motivate local communities. There's a global advocacy. These fairs can advocate for global policies or initiatives aimed at reducing deforestation, like RE Red Plus. 100th Tanzanian Music Festival sets Guinness World Record in Gwalior. Who was Tansen and why is he considered legendary figure in Indian music history? What would regard world record has been set in the Tansen Music Festival? How do such festivals contribute to India's cultural diplomacy and global image as a nation rich in heritage? What is the significance of Gwalior as the venue for the Tansen Music Festival? Tansen, born as Ramtanu Pandey around 506 in Gwalior, was one of the most illustrious musicians in the history. He was one of the nine jewels in the court of Akbar. Musical innovations. Tansen is credited with creating several ragas including Miyaki Todi, Miyaki Malhar and Darbari Kannada. Vocal and instrumental mastery, known for his versatile skills and in both vocal and instrumental music, particularly with the veena and his mastery of the Drupad and Khayal styles. Mythical abilities. Legends attribute almost supernatural powers to his music, like making lamps light up the or rainfall, underscoring his legendary status. A large ensemble performance of the Hindustani classical music. 546 artists performed on 8 classical instruments: violin, harmonium, sarangi, flute, sarod, shehnai, tabla in a coordinated performance. How do such festivals contribute to India's cultural diplomacy and global image in a nation rich heritage? Festivals like Tansen Samaro attract musicians and music lovers from all around the world. Soft power, they act as a form of soft power where India promotes its cultural heritage, richness. Gwalior is Tansen's birthplace, thus hosting the festival there connects directly to his legacy. Tansen's tomb is the focal point of the festival. Gwalior is known as the City of Music and has been recognized by UNESCO as a Creative City of Music in 2023. Has been recognized by UNESCO as Creative City of Music in 2023. Reflecting its long-standing tradition, Creative City of Music has been recognized by UNESCO as a Creative City of Music in 2023. Gwalior's association with music education through institutions and Gurukul makes it a fitting place to celebrate and learn about Indian music heritage. Vice President to inaugurate GSI Geoscience Museum in Gwalior. How do such museums foster a scientific temper in society? Education and awareness. Geoscience museums, like one from Geological Survey of India, provides hands-on learning experience about Earth's history, geology and resources, making science accessible, multidimensional roles, geological mapping, conduct systematic geological mapping of the country, which is fundamental for understanding geological hazards, resources, and environmental impact. Mineral exploration plays a crucial role in exploring and assessing mineral resources. Research and development GSI undertakes research in various geological fields, contributing to scientific knowledge including seismology, geophysics, and geochemistry. Environmental geology studies related to environmental protection like monitoring water resources, geological hazards, and land use planning. Education on outreach through publications, seminars, and now its museums. GSI educates public and students about geosciences. How can museums like these inspire public dialogue, exhibits on resource use by displaying the life cycle of minerals? Museums can educate visitors the finite nature of these resources, case studies highlighting successful conservation stories, educational program, workshops or lectures on conservation, art and science intersection using art to interpret scientific data or geological phenomena, and policy and continuity community engagement and youth involvement aimed at schools or youth groups to inspire the next generation. Gwalior houses India's first modern self-sufficient Gaushala with a state-of-the-art compressed biogas plant. First modern self-sufficient Gaushala with state-of-the-art CBG plant. Why is energy security important for India? Do you think that biogas can play a significant role in mitigating the effects of climate change? How can biogas plants contribute to solving issues like indoor air pollution caused by traditional cooking methods? And what government initiatives exist to promote biogas production and usage? What are primary components of biogas and how does it differ from other renewable energy sources? Why is energy security important for India? For economic stability, ensure stable supply of energy for national stability, dependence on imported security can pose risk in times of geopolitical tensions or supply disruptions. Sustainable development supports sustainable development goals by promoting the use of domestic and renewable energy resources. Access to energy with a significant portion of the population still lacking access to clean energy. Security in energy supply is vital for improving living standards and health. Climate goals India's commitment to reducing its climate carbon footprint and increasing renewable energy use is underpinned by the need for secure, sustainable energy sources. Do you believe that biogas can play a significant role in mitigating the effects of climate change? Yes, biogas can play a significant role. Methane capture. Biogas production captures methane from organic waste. Biogas production captures methane from organic waste. Biogas production captures methane from organic waste. Fossil fuel substitution, waste management, proper biogas utilization can reduce the anaerobic decomposition. Biogas utilization can reduce the anaerobic decomposition of waste in landfills. As a renewable energy source, biogas helps in transitioning to cleaner energy mix, reducing overall greenhouse gas emissions. Soil and water conservation. The byproduct biogas slurry can be used as organic fertilizer, reducing the need for chemical fertilizers that contribute to nitrous oxide emissions. How can biogas plant contribute to solving issues like indoor air pollution caused by traditional cooking methods? Cleaner food fuel alternative burns clearly, producing far less particulate matter, reduction in smoke, reduces or eliminates smoke from cooking, health benefits by mitigating indoor air pollution. Biogas helps in reducing health risks. What government initiative exists in India to promote biogas production and usage? National Bioenergy Program launched by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. This focus includes funding for biogas plant installations with a focus on both small scale family size and larger community for industrial plants, sustainable alternative towards affordable transportation. National Bioenergy Program (MNRE) with a focus on small scale and large community sized industrial programs includes funding for biogas plant installations. National Bioenergy Program with focus on small scale includes funding for biogas plant installations that aimed at setting up CBG plants, CBG production plants, sustainable C Satat. There's Gobardhan scheme under the Swachh Bharat mission. It promotes the conversion of cattle dung and solid waste into biogas. And there is National Biogas and National Manure Management Program, National Biogas and Manure Management Program, Bioenergy Mission for includes funding for biogas plant installation, include funding for biogas plant installations under MNRE, sustainable alternative towards affordable transportation. Satat Govardhan scheme under the Swachh Bharat mission. It promotes conversion of cattle dung and solid waste into biogas. National biogas and manure management programs, biogas development and training centers, BDTCs. These centers train people in biogas technology, ensuring skilled labor for installation and maintenance. What are primary components of biogas and how does it differ from other renewable energy sources? Methane, typically 50 to 75%, the primary combustible component. Then there's carbon dioxide and trace gases including hydrogen, nitrogen, hydrogen sulfide, and water vapor. Biogas is produced from organic waste through anaerobic digestion, differing from solar or wind, which depends on natural phenomena. Waste management, it's unique in its dual benefit of energy production and waste management and byproduct utilization, local impact. Madhya Pradesh Rajasthan Joint Panel formed for coordination for Cheetah project. What are panel's objectives? Why has cheetah been reintroduced into India's ecological system? Why was Kuno National Park selected as the site for cheetah reintroduction? What other parks were considered for this initiative? How does interstate coordination contribute to the success of wildlife conservation projects like cheetah reintroduction? Given the recent deaths of some cheetahs, do you consider the reintroduction initiative a success or a work in progress? How important is community participation in ensuring long term success of wildlife conservation projects? Coordination of cheetah movement, managing and monitoring the movement of cheetah across state boundaries, and habitat management, conflict resolution, addressing any human wildlife conflict that might arise out of cheetah's movement, resource sharing, and public awareness. Cheetah has been introduced in India for ecological restoration. Cheetahs were native to India but became extinct due to hunting and habitat loss. Cheetahs were native to India but became extinct due to hunting and habitat loss. Their reintroduction aims to restore ecological balance, particularly in grasslands where they are apex predators. Their reintroduction aims to restore ecological balance, particularly in grasslands where they are apex predators. Enhancing biodiversity by reintroducing a keystone species. Biodiversity enhanced by reintroducing a keystone species, which can lead to healthier ecosystem with better control over prey populations. Conservation symbol, the cheetah acts as a flagship species for conservation, drawing attention and resources to broader wildlife and habitat preservation efforts. Scientific research provides an opportunity to study cheetah behavior, genetics, and adaptation in a new environment, contributing to global conservation knowledge. Cultural significance, cheetahs have historical cultural importance in India, and their return symbolizes a commitment to heritage conservation. What was why was Kuno National Park selected for the site of cheetah reintroduction and what other parks were considered? Kuno National Park, it has vast grassland which are ideal for cheetahs. It has vast grasslands which are ideal for cheetahs. Prey availability. Known for its abundance of prey species like deer, which are crucial for cheetah survival, previous studies Kuno was identified as a potential reintroduction site after extensive studies. Infrastructure. It has developed infrastructure for wildlife management including anti-poaching measures. Other parks considered: Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary, considered due to its habit size, habitat and suitability. Mukundra Hills Tiger Reserve, Rajasthan, another potential site due to its landscaping resembling cheetah habitats, but logistical and administrative challenges were noted. Noradehi Wildlife Sanctuary was in discussion but lacked immediate infrastructure and prey base. Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary, due to its size and habitat suitability, with plans for future cheetah reintroductions. Mukundra Hills Tiger Reserve, Rajasthan, due to its landscape resembling cheetah habitats, but logistical and administrative challenges were noted. Noradehi, but lacked immediate infrastructure and prey base. Kuno has vast grasslands, prey availability, and was identified as a previous studies was identified as a potential reintroduction site starting in 1990s. How does interstate coordination contribute to success of wildlife conservation projects like cheetah reintroduction? Resource optimization, sharing of resources, including funds, expertise, and manpower, can lead to more effective conservation strategies. Provides a mechanism to deal with issues like animal movement, habitat encroachment, or poaching that might otherwise complicate conservation efforts. Corridor management coordination is essential for managing wildlife. Public policy and education, a synchronized effort in public engagement in policy making can foster greater community support and compliance. Work in progress. While deaths are concerning, reintroduction projects often take years to show stable success. The initiative needs to be evaluated over the long term. Learning curve. Each death provides insights into veterinary care, habitat suitability, and adaptation challenges which are crucial for future management. But in population dynamics, initial mortality rates. Success metrics. Success isn't just about survival rates but also about establishment. How important is community participation in the long term success of wildlife conservation projects? Local support ensures local support, sustainable livelihoods, conservation awareness, educating locals can transform them into allies. In conclusion, the cheetah reintroduction reflects a broader commitment. So that's all in this one. See you in the next.